Hello.
I know that we're never ever supposed to start with an apology, but I do have to apologise for this late starting of the competition this evening. Okay, I really sincerely apologise. I've been travelling since 6:30, but that's, I suppose in some cases that's not an excuse. So my sincere apologies. Okay. This evening's competition, we have 6 competitors. Yes, which will start with the humorous speech competition. We will then have a break, and then that will be followed by the table topics competition. Yes. The speakers will be speaking between 5 to 7 minutes. Okay? So, Mr. Timekeeper, all right? Thanks very much. So, will our first contestant title of the speech.
Can you give the order of the contestants, please?
Oh, yes, I can. I'm so sorry. Our first contestant will be Sina. Okay. Our second contestant will be Ade. Right. Is it? Do you want to take that or do you want to call name?
Yeah, go ahead. Because you need to give all the judges the order so they can write. You know.
I'm with you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So our first contestant is Sina. Our second contestant is Ade. My apologies. First is Sina. Our second contestant is Steffi. Our third contestant is Ade. Our fourth contestant is Anthony. Our fifth contestant is Jill. And our last contestant, number 6, is David. Shall I just repeat that again?
That's fine.
That's fine. Okay, thanks very much. So our first contestant, the title of the speech, The Wire, is Sina. Sina, speech is called The Wire.
So, some people are naturally funny. They don't need to try for it. And that's really good. I was watching Pacino, and he was on top of the stage. And he just gave a chance to one of the audience to come up and ask a question. So, the guy came up and asked him, "Hey Al, how come you're so fresh, you're young, you don't age, you look really good. And what's your secret?" So he said, and you know how Pacino talks. He said, "Well, yoga is good for you. Not that I do it personally, but it's quite good for you." And then he carried on and said, "Whenever I get the urge to do some sport or some healthy exercise, I lie flat on the floor. So the urge passes. And then I stand up and carry on walking." So, they're naturally funny and they're not even trying to be funny. But me, even smiling, sometimes things go terribly wrong. For instance, the first memory of mine, smiling, was at the class. So my teacher kicked me out. Said, "What the hell are you smiling at? I was talking about something funny." And then again, I have so many different memories of smiling. I remember I was walking in London and this big thick guy came through me. He said, you think I'm funny? You smiling at me?" And I wasn't even and I'm smiling at him. So, and sometimes it gets really ridiculous. I mean, sometimes it's embarrassing. I want to kiss my wife. I said, "Hold on. What the heck is funny about this? Why are you smiling right now?" So, it's not supposed to work all the time. Now, when I tell jokes, sometimes I can't help it. I make the jokes so long and storyline and complicated that I kind of embarrass myself. So I was walking in the market and I have this friend of mine from New Zealand, and I said, hey Carsten, I've got a new joke for you. He said, hold on. You see, I'm still thinking about your old joke, figuring out what was funny about it. just go slowly, man. And I said, no, I've got a new one. He said, so go for it. I said, okay. Listen, there was this jungle, and there was this countryside. So no man could go in the jungle and come back alive. But there was this man. He went through the jungle, and he came back alive. So people gathered around him and asked, what happened in the jungle? So the guy said, well, there was a lion, a big lion in this jungle. And then he approached me and he said, well, I'm sorry to say this, but I should either sexually abuse you or eat you. The choice is yours. And people said, so what did you do? What did you say? I said, well, he ate me. So the point is, in that time, Carsten gave me a joke back. He said, well, you know what? There was this Iranian guy and a Mexican guy and an African guy and this English guy was on the top of the building. Yeah. So the Iranian guy jumped off the building, said, this is for my people, and he dies. So the Mexican guy followed him. I said, hey, this is for my people. And then he jumped off. He said, and he dies. So the African guy came, so this is for my people. And he pushed the English guy through. Well, that's what Carsten. So the title of my speech was Wire, because I was originally find something really funny. I don't want to fall into the cast and things and tell you a long story, but I was very interested in personal development, and this is a real story. But whenever I would go around the capital, when I was in Tehran, I could meet up these people that there were so many people gathered around them, and they were having these speeches, and these speeches wouldn't make any sense. I felt, this is just silly, stupid, or they are so advanced that I don't know anything about it. So I kept on assuming that they just know too much that I can't figure out. But then I realized I've got to have a different approach. So I'll tell you what was my approach. You see, there were three guys: a Japanese guy, a German guy, and we say a third guy. Yeah. So they sliced the brain of the Japanese, and they saw there are so much microtechnology over there. And they said, wow, this is wonderful. We got to put a research group on this. They sliced up the brain of the German guy, and they realized there's a lot of cracks and there's a lot of sophisticated mechanics going on. So they said, this is wonderful. You need to put a research group on him. But they sliced the brain of the third guy, and they just saw a wire. So they said, wow, look at this. This should be so advanced. Maybe there is something really, really phenomenal going on. Maybe this is going to be a magnetic field. And what happened? They said, we can't figure out anything. We got to cut the wire and see what is through this wire. What's happening through, what's this advanced technology within this wire? So they had all the cameras prepared, they cut the wire, so his ear dropped. So basically, there was nothing in his mind, and the wire was there to hold the ear. And that's the same thing when we have people talking and they don't make sense. Basically, they're talking bullshit, but it takes me a long time to figure out. Madam President.
Our second
Have a minute on the clock,
sorry.
please.
Do you want me to?
1.
1 minute.
1 minute, then 2 at the very end.
1 minute, Madam